White shine, you made it.
Tryna heal from stories I've untold. Things that wouldn't matter when I'm 27 years old. Cause I can't let nothing break me. And my heart is meant for great things. I ain't rushing, I've been patient. That's why every chance I'm taking. Counting on the sheep like I believe in shooting stars. Never thought it would be easy if the truth would go so far. Had to face apart in prices. Had to get rid of the pieces. And I treat them all with kindness. So they love me like a man. Got to heal from stories I've been told. Things that wouldn't matter when I'm 27 years old. Cause I can't let nothing break me. My heart is meant for great things. I ain't rushing, I've been patient. That's why every chance I take. Her highness. Her highness. Her highness. Her highness.
Dreamville Day 1. Solo, hot outside, energy high, and smelling like baccarat on a budget. But even with all the noise, I came back to one thing. The words. Before I even get into the experience, let's talk about the fit. Fashion Nova head to toe. I had on this striped halter top, cream pants, a gold coin belt that tied everything together, and hoops big enough to make a statement. But the real star of the show was that Crystal 23 by Alt fragrance. I smelled like baccarat on a budget, sun up to sundown. Listen, y'all, I've always been a writer. Like, before I was singing, before I was doing the interviews, before I was, before I picked up a mic, I had a pen in my hand. And that's literally where it all started. I can remember being in elementary school, and for the most part, I grew up as an only child. I have an older sister, but she's 11 years older than me. So for most of my childhood, we didn't live in the same house. She was grown already. So I had to find different ways to occupy my time. And, growing up, my parents were a little strict. Just a little bit. I won't say they was OD. They wasn't ODing it, but they was a little strict. I couldn't watch much TV growing up. I didn't have a TV in my room growing up. So I had to find other ways to occupy my time. And for me, that was, listening to the radio, writing in my little notebook, and just, being in my own little world. So that's kind of what I know, and I just internalized that growing up. So now I still don't really watch TV like that. And most of my free time I spend writing music, not even listening to other music anymore, but like writing it just because, I don't know, that's what I like to do. So yeah. So I think that's why now I really pay attention to lyrics more than anything, more than the vibes, more than the aesthetics, more than, all that other jazz. I always pay attention to what the artist is saying. Earlier this month, I went to my very first festival. I went to Dreamville. If y'all know me, y'all know I haven't really been to too many like concerts or shows and stuff like that. The first one I went to was the Cheetah Girls. The first one I went to was the Doodle Bops. Then I went to the Cheetah Girls. And last year I went to see Nicki Minaj, but those are the only time I've seen live shows other than like musicals. Because, I grew up a theater kid or whatever, former Broadway baby or whatever. So, yeah. When I went to Dreamville, I only really caught day 1 because day 2 I got sick. I woke up the next morning broken out in hives and, I was congested. My throat was all ridiculous. So I was like, all right, it's time for me to go home. And luckily, I got to go for free because I work at a radio station. So I was able to get some free tickets, which is really, really cool. I probably wouldn't have went if I didn't get them, if we're being honest. But I got to see Young Nudie. I saw Chief Keef, Ari Lennox, Keisha Cole, Party Next Door. I wanted to see Ludacris, but the lines were so long and I had to get me something to drink while I was out there. So I just couldn't risk, being out there thirsty and just... I even wrote an article about Dreamville Essentials, and I just, for some reason, didn't listen to myself. So I didn't bring like a refillable water bottle, so I had to keep buying stuff. And yeah, so I missed Ludacris. And then by the time 21 Savage went on, like I was just overstimulated because I was out there by myself for the most part. Like, I mean, I was by myself, it was hot, and I turned around and I said, there's a lot of people out here. And if you know me, I get anxiety real bad. Like, I don't do too well with crowds, so why I thought I was gonna go out and be alone at Dreamville and just be chilling, I don't know, but I did it, and I'm glad that I went because, you know, it was the fifth and final, so you know how to show up, you know. But I really saw everything that I needed to see, and it was a really great experience. But we're gonna get into that. Let's talk about Keisha Cole, because that set, that wasn't just good, that was legendary. And I know, I'm a huge fan, but I'm not even being biased when I say she had the best performance I saw all night. From the dancers, live vocals, transitions, and control, she gave performance and present, like a real R&B vet. But what made it crazy was how the crowd responded. Now, if you went to an HBCU like me, I mean, come on, you know, you see the orange and green, so you know what that means. Shout out to the Rattlers, you already know. But if you went to an HBCU, you know you can't go to not one function without hearing Love by Keisha Cole. So, like, just seeing her perform it live and, like, the crowd, like, getting to sing along with her, ooh, oh my gosh, like, that was such an experience, and I'm so grateful for that. Like, what? Keisha up there like, I I know they like to joke and say, like, sometimes, don't get me wrong, I love Keisha Cole, but they be trying to say that sometimes Keisha forgets she's Keisha Cole, and I just hope that, like, moments like those really remind artists, like, what they do this for. Because when you make songs that stick, lyrics that, like, last, they not only become a part of your story, but they're part of a lot of people's stories, their heartbreak, their healing. Like, it becomes bigger than that moment. So when it comes to me as a writer, that's some of the things that I like to pick up on and that I like to try to portray in my music, even though I don't have the biggest audience. Like, if somebody were to hear my music, I would want them to be like, yeah, I feel that, I know what she's saying. So yeah, that's kind of the point of this video today. We're talking about the writers, the lyricists, because you can't have a song without the words. Well, you can, and they do, but come on now. You know where the talent at. The talent is really in the writing. Songwriting is the foundation. Before the beat, before the hook, and before the performance, the words come first. So when I think about the writers who really shaped this generation and developed the blueprint that we're still following to this day, these are the names that come to mind. Victoria Monet is the soft life pen, feminine, sensual, and luxurious. Her writing feels like satin and champagne and dim lights in the studio at 3 a.m. But before she ever stepped into her solo shine, she was building Ariana Grande's biggest eras. Thank You Next, 7 Rings, Monopoly, NASA, that was her. And now, she's showing us what it looks like when the songwriter takes center stage. You can feel the intentionality in everything she does, from Moment to On My Mama. Victoria doesn't waste words. She's the pen and the presence. Now listen, when we talk about the pens with range, Money Long is in a class of her own. She's written across genres, literally, from pop to country to R&B. You might have heard California King Dead by Rihanna or Worth It by Fifth Harmony. Yeah, that was her. And when she gave us Hours and Hours, the whole game changed. What makes Money's pen so crazy is how she can write for the moment and the memory. Songs that go viral and songs that heal. She's a long game writer. and she proves that when you trust your pen, the rest will come. Kandi Burruss deserves so much more credit. She's not just Real Housewives and Shade Room headlines. She's the blueprint for early 2000s R&B pens. She wrote No Scrubs. She wrote Bills, Bills, Bills. She helped shape Destiny's Child and TLC into the voices of an entire generation of Black women. Strong, direct, and unbothered. And she was doing it young. Her pen gave us attitudes with polish that I know my worth energy before it became a caption. If Esther Dean wrote it, it was a hit. Point blank, period. Rude Boy, Firework, What's My Name? These weren't just catchy songs. These were culture. She has this way of writing pop that still feels Black, still feels soulful, and still feels real. And she was dominating the charts as a songwriter while building her own sound too. Esther's pen is fun, loud, flirty, but if you really listen, there's structure. She knows how to write a song that sticks. Alicia Keys will always be that writer to me. She gave us ballads with depth, love songs with vulnerability. She made being emotional sound like a strength. Unthinkable, If I Ain't Got You, Diary. These weren't just hits. These were pages out of her actual journal, and you can tell. Alicia's pen feels like poetry that sat in the sunlight too long and cracked open. Adele's pen is British heartbreak wrapped in soul. She writes like someone who never recovered from their first love and doesn't want to. What I love most is that she's always written her own songs. No matter how big she got, she kept the pen in her hand. And that's why songs like Someone Like You or When We Were Young age like wine. They come from a place you can't fake. Janae's pen is the quiet storm energy. Her voice is soft, but her words are heavy. She writes in riddles, affirmations, and therapy sessions. Spotless Mind, Triggered, The Worst. Her lyrics feel like someone sat you down, handed you a mirror, and said, read. And even when she's floating over dreamy beats, she's always saying something that makes you pause. And then there's the pen, the pink pen. Nicki Minaj didn't just write for herself, she wrote for the culture. The punchlines, the metaphors, the cadence shifts, the alter egos. That's writing. That's real penmanship. Her verses on Monster, Moment for Life, Looking Ass, Seeing Green, those aren't just raps, they're timestamps. She taught a generation of girls how to say it loud, say it clever, and say it first. Nicki's pen made it cool to be cocky and calculated. So yeah, those are the ladies that I study. Because I just feel like every pen in that lineup has made me sit down at some point and be like, oh, that's how you feel? They showed me that songwriting is more than just rhyming words. It's about storytelling. So when I write songs, it's not necessarily about chasing a hit or chasing what's trending or what's viral right now. It's about chasing that feeling. Because if I can't make you feel something, I didn't do my job. So yeah, that's kind of what my mindset is. But we gave the women their flowers, but we can't skate by without giving the men their props too. I can't lie. Because some of the most emotional, structured, and layered songs that we've ever heard came from male writers who just understood feeling. Not flex, not flash, but real feelings. So let's get into it. Let's start with Neyo. The thing about Neyo is his pen is deceptively simple. He writes like a man who's not afraid to beg a little bit. So Sick, Let Me Love You, Irreplaceable. That's 3 generations of heartbreak right there. Different styles, different artists, but the same emotional pull. His pen is the blueprint for vulnerability that still sounds smooth. Then you've got The Dream, and his pen is unmatched. He writes in loops, hypnotic, catchy, and full of detail. Single Ladies, Bed, Rocking that thing, falsetto, umbrella. I mean, come on. He's not just writing hooks, he's building entire eras. His pen knows melody structure like muscle memory, and the thing is, it doesn't matter if he's writing for Beyonce, Rihanna, or himself. The signature sound is always there. You know it's the dream. Babyface is the godfather. You can't talk about R&B without him. His pen is why 90s R&B has so much structure, so much depth. He gave us End of the Road, Whip Appeal, Soon as I Get Home, Can We Talk, Exhale. He's the reason ballads didn't just sound good, they told stories. Babyface gave male artists the blueprint to be emotional and composed, romantic and restrained, real. Johnta Austin might be one of the most underrated pens in R&B. You don't always see his name, but you always feel his presence. We Belong Together, Be Without You, Sweet Lady. He writes for voices that require real storytelling. Mariah, Mary J, Tyrese, Aaliyah. His pen hits like a personal letter. Intimate and intentional. No bars wasted. Just real emotion, structured to last. And then you got James Fauntleroy, the secret weapon. He's probably written some of your favorite songs and you didn't even know. He's worked with Bruno Mars, Beyonce, Justin Timberlake, Rihanna, Frank Ocean. Fauntleroy's pen is poetic. It's light, smooth, and laced with emotional depth you almost miss on the first listen. But when it hits, it hits. And that's the magic. He's not always loud, but writing leaves a mark. I just know that all of these writers showed me that the real magic happens before the mic even cuts on. The hook might catch you, but the pen is what holds you. So that's kind of why I do what I do. And that's why, for me, the words will always be the most important thing. Point blank, period. So now, we've talked about their pens, the legends, the silent giants, the artists, behind the artists. But now, you know how it goes. We gotta circle back and talk about mine. Just for a little bit, if you don't mind. Today, the song that I really want to talk about is one that I wrote during my freshman year at FAMU. Yeah, I think I wrote, it was between my freshman and sophomore year at FAMU. It was based off of a situation that happened during my freshman year at FAMU, so let's get into it. This song is called Know Better. So when I was in school, when I was in high school, we gonna start in high school, I was like, man, I gotta get away from these DMV boys, because, if you didn't know, I'm a DMV girly through and through, yeah, so what? So I was like, I gotta get away from these DMV boys, they ain't on man, you feel me? I gotta go, I gotta go to Florida, I gotta go to the South and see what it's hitting on down there. So that's what I did, and I was like, okay, I'm in school now, but, for some reason, even though I was in school in Florida, I was still drawn to the DMV guys. I don't know if I was drawn to them or they was drawn to me. I think they was drawn to me. I don't know. So I was, But anyway, this song, Know Better, is my group chat in song form. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. So if you don't go to FAMU, then let me explain. There is a dorm called FAMU Village. Now you have Village East and then you have Village West. Obviously, we know the west side is the best side because what else would it be? Duh. So, yeah, I stayed on Village West, obviously. And the guy that I was dealing with at the time also stayed with Village West. He was staying in Village West too, on a different floor than me. I'm not gonna say the floors because that might be too federal. But yeah, and I always just been real. I try to be low key. You feel me? I try to be low key. I don't try to be in the mix or nothing like that. But my homegirls, they be knowing what's going on. So we had a group chat. One of my homegirls was over on Village East. She seen Buddy over on Village East. So she took a picture and sent it to the group chat. She said, Micah, ain't this your man? I said, what is he doing over there? Because him and all his homeboys live over on the west side. So what's going on over there? And I didn't press him about it or nothing then, but it was just kind of, okay, take notes. And yeah, so no better, right? I said, leave them Tally boys alone. Tally meaning Tallahassee. Because he probably stay out on Tennessee Street, but he creep in the breeze with a hoe stay on the east. So the breeze. So the breeze. The breeze was the breezeway, the intersection between Village East and Village West. So he creeping in the breeze. He was creeping in the breezeway, that little intersection down in the middle, with the hoe stay on the east, because the hoe stayed on the east side, and me, I stayed on the west side. So what are you doing on the east side with this girl when I clearly stay on the west side? You got me messed up. Um, but yeah, so he probably stayed on Tennessee Street. I said Tennessee Street because if you know Tallahassee, you know that's where most of the student apartments are, like West 10. That's the only one I could think of right now because that's the one that we was in freshman year. Our friends stayed in West 10. I can't really think of nothing else, but all the student housing was pretty much on Tennessee Street or off Tennessee Street for the most part. So that's why I say he probably stay out on Tennessee Street, but he creep in the breeze with a house there on the east. Cause I'm not gonna lie, like this song is so unserious. Like it was just funny to me at the time. It's probably like my least streamed song right now, but like for me, it was just like a key. It was just like a key. Cause I'm not gonna lie, freshman year, I was not taking it serious. I was like, we're so young. This is our first year in school. There's no way this is going to last. It's not going to last. So, I mean, it is what it is. So I just wrote me a little cute, little catchy song off it. And honestly, this song isn't even as lyrically developed as I have right now. Obviously, I was like, what? Probably like 18, 19 when I wrote it. Now I'm 23. So, of course, it's nowhere near what I write today. But it's still like it reminds me of that specific moment every single time I listen to it because it's like, bro, leave them Tally boys alone too, because I have my fair share of Florida guys, I ain't gonna lie, and they ain't no better. And my homegirl that stayed, she went to school in Virginia. She was dealing with the same thing. Her and her friends up there was dealing with the same thing. My friends that were in Atlanta dealing with the same thing. And then, of course, my homegirls back home in the DMV area, well, in the Maryland area, because Virginia is the DMV. But my friends back in Maryland too, dealing with the same thing. So it's like none of these guys are better than the next. They just all ain't on none. They ain't talking about nothing. So that's kind of what that song was about. And again, it was very unserious, but it just songs like that, songs that I write specifically, just take me back to the point in time that I was at when I wrote them. And of course, like I know that not everybody is gonna understand the slang and stuff, because I said, them DC boys know better. Just know you try to keep a leg or two. Um, and if you're not from the DMV area, you're probably like, what do you mean he keeps a leg or two? Leg means, a little side thing or whatever, little side piece or whatever. But if you not from the area, you don't know what I'm talking about. Then I said, don't fall for a dummy because you like how you say blue. Because, if you're from the DMV area, from Maryland, then them Baltimore dudes and their accents, that's something else. I ain't gonna lie. So I just kind of, and I didn't want to get too specific with nobody's cities or whatever. So I just named them all. Yeah, I just named them all. Um, and to this day, that song is just a key. Like, I can't take it seriously. Like, if you hear it, don't take it seriously. It's just a fun little, oh, he probably stay out on Tennessee Street, but he creep in the breeze with a house stay on the east. Like, Girl, them DC boys know better. Just know you sure to keep a leg or two. And don't fall for a dummy because you like how he say blue. Like, it was just. Oh, but I remember, oh my gosh, when we went to the studio, right? My homegirl was like, for the last chorus, you gotta yell, what a hoe on the east. So that's what I did at the end. I was like, what a hoe on the east. And she was like, cause that's what people do. You gotta build up to it. I was like, all right, cause I'm not the type of person you could come to the studio with me and give me some pointers. I take it, cause I don't be knowing what to do. Like my strength is in the writing. I like when it comes to all the other technicalities and the vocal composition, that is not my strength, and I know that because I don't really practice that. I'm a writer through and through, so that's what I focus on. Even back then, like I can't even really remember the verses. Oh, I do. Oh yeah, and like the verse was like a cute little cadence. It was like, he ain't gotta ask me about my past. He jumped right into the things that he could say to get between my legs. But it's more to it than that. It was just a cute song, not serious at all. Um, that was no better. I think that every artist has like that one song that didn't necessarily go viral, it didn't chart, and it didn't make headlines, but it did teach them a lot about who they were as an artist and as a person. And I think No Better is one of those songs for me. It taught me that my voice came from my real life. My pen, my lyricism comes from my real life experiences. Um, and the pen is just the mic that I pick up when the truth is too loud to hold. So that's something that I really like to keep with me, like especially like when I'm writing now. Like I'm sure you could probably guess I have dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of songs like written in my notes app on my phone. Cause to be honest, like I write quicker than I can record. Like my life isn't set up for full-time studio sessions. Like no, like I work I work a 9 to 5. Like I go to the studio when I can, and when I do go, like sometimes I can only afford those 2 hour sessions. So it's not always the best that I want it to be, but I I really do put an emphasis on in what I'm saying because I feel like that's the most important to me and what my artistry represents. But sometimes like I go back to like those older songs like No Better, or songs that I wrote around the time that I wrote No Better, and I'm like, I don't know if I still feel this. I don't know if this represents who I am because I've grown as a person since then. And I remember talking to one of my homeboys about it. He's a producer from Atlanta, but I think he's still in Tally or whatever. And he was like, you think too hard about it because just because it doesn't resonate with where you are in your life doesn't mean that it won't resonate with somebody else and where they are in their life. Because those songs that you wrote, they're still lessons that, you had to learn from. So that's something that I kind of like that I have to like get over because like I said, I've written so many songs, and for me it's like I know I write better than this now. I don't think like this anymore, but somebody else is in that phase of life that I was in at that point in my life. So I don't know if I'm completely over it, like not wanting to record those types of songs anymore that are just like old to me, but I'm constantly reminded that those songs do matter too. And even though my lyricism has grown, like, so has my voice. So, like, it just, everything gets better with time. So what it would have sounded like when I was 19 is not what it would sound like now at 23. And sometimes I go back on those songs and I just refine them a little bit to fit where I am in my life right now. But again, I think those stories are just as important as the ones that I have to tell now. So if you're a writer like me, like don't throw out your past work just because it's old to you now, because again, it's new to somebody else and it might just be what they need. So that's kind of my like spiel for today or whatever. The pen is precious, the pen is mighty, and it holds a lot of truth and a lot of stories, and I just love writing so much. I don't even know how to close this. Oh, I do know how to close it, because last time I said I don't know how to close this, but yes I do. Y'all, like, please go check out my Substack. Oh my gosh, I dropped newsletters. Duh, like, that is so cool. Well, at least I think it's cool. You don't have to, but I drop my newsletters or whatever. I talk about different things every week, stuff that I might talk about on here, more exclusive stuff. Like, I can't give you all the juice, I can't give you all the tea, but yeah, go check out my newsletters or whatever. I also drop merch, funded by Love merch. I came up with that name because I came up with the name Funded by Love because I realized that if people want to see you succeed, they'll support you. Nothing about music is cheap. Nothing about it is cheap. So you gotta fund it somehow. And I ain't gonna lie, my 9 to 5 keep the lights on. It pay for what I need it to pay for. But if I really want to invest in my craft, it does take some money. So if you want to support me, I got some merch going on my website, beyondthemic.com. I got sweatshirts, I got mugs, I got slides, I got t-shirts, I got bags. And it's cute, so go check it out. That's really all I got for today. Follow me on the socials. My personal stuff is bxmicah. Oh, and then if you want to follow Beyond the Mic socials to keep up with everything else that I do, because I don't really post too much on my personal pages. Like, I post all my stuff on my Beyond the Mic pages. So, yeah, go check it out. But yeah, this was it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope it wasn't too much rambling. I'm trying to get better at that. And then here I go rambling again. Okay, just bye, y'all. Bye.